Hi guys, it's Stitch Witch here with another tutorial for you, and today we are going to be making the log cabin granny square blanket. Here's one that I've started. I just picked some random forest and earth tone colors and I started making the blanket, and I'm probably about a quarter of the way through it because this is going to end up going on my queen bed. So let me go ahead and get this out of the way. Slide it right over here to the edge. And get the camera right over here. Alright, I'm not quite sure what that is on my table. Let's get that out of there. And I picked, a couple of random colors to work with. Just some yarn out of my scrap pile. And excuse my dogs, they tend to like to make noise anytime I try to do anything. So I am using a standard DK weight yarn. And for this tutorial, I am using a 5.5 millimeter hook. Now you're going to start this the same way as you would any other granny square, however you start your granny square. But I start with a chain of 4. And then I do a slip stitch to join to that very first chain. And then we chain 3. And we're going to do 2 double crochets. And on the corners of my granny squares, I usually just do a chain 2. Some people do a chain 3. It's completely up to you. We're going to do the chain 2 for the corner. And we're going to do 3 more double crochets. And then chain 2. And 3 more double crochets. Chain 2. Grab some more yarn here. Now we're on our last side, so we're going to do 3 more double crochets. And don't forget that last chain 2. And then you're going to slip stitch right here to the 3rd chain. At the beginning of your granny cluster. Excuse me. Grabbing some more yarn. Now we want to get over to the corner space. So we are going to slip stitch into that next double crochet, into this double crochet, and right here into the corner space. Oops, that wasn't a slip stitch. There we go. Now we're going to chain 3. And we are going to do 2 more double crochets. chain 2, and 3 more double crochets right into that same space. Excuse me. All right, now some people chain between their clusters. I do not. So you're just going to move right over into that corner space and do 3 more double crochets. Chain 2 and do 3 more double crochets into that same space. And we're right at the next corner, and we're going to do the same thing. 3 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 3 double crochets into the same space. Now we're on our last corner, so we're going to repeat the same thing again. 3 double crochets. Oops, need to grab some more yarn. Do a chain of 2, and 3 more double crochets into that same space. And then we are going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain. Just like that. And that's the end of row 2. You get ready for the next row. We are going to slip stitch into the next double crochet and the next one, and finally into that corner space. Chain 3, and do 2 more double crochets. Chain 2, and then 3 more double crochets right into that same space. Over to the next space. We're going to do 3 double crochets right into this side space here. And we're at our corner space, so we are going to do 3 double crochets. A chain of 2, and 3 double crochets into that same space. And we're going to repeat this process on the next 3 sides, and I'll meet back up with you when I reach the end of the row. Alright guys, I've finished the row. I slip stitched over to the corner and I've done my chain 3. And we're going to do 1 more row for a total of 4 rows. And every corner is going to have 3 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 3 double crochets. And then every space along the side is going to have 3 double crochets. And then chain 2. And turn that corner and do 3 more double crochets. And you're just going to keep repeating this process all the way around to the end of the row. And I'll meet back up with you when we get there. Okay guys, I've come to the end of the row and I am slip stitching into the top of that chain 3. Oops, lost my hook there. Let me get it back real quick. There we go, slip stitching into the top of that chain 3 from the row below. And that is the end of round 4. So I'm going to cut the yarn. We'll just go ahead and pull that up. Give it a gentle tug. And we are going to sew in the end later. Now let me just go ahead and grab the next color. We're going to move to this corner space right here. Pop our hook through. And go ahead and draw up a loop. We're going to chain 1 and 2 and 3. We're going to do 2 more double crochets. We're going to go ahead and do that over the end of the yarn to kind of help secure it in there. There's 1. Whoops. And 2. Move that end out of the way. Now we're just going to go across this side and this side, and we're going to go back and forth just over 2 sides. And we're going to do 4 rows of that. Now the rest of this row is going to work exactly the same way. We're going to do 3 double crochets into every space all the way across. Now on the corners, we're going to do our 3 double crochets, our chain of 2, and our 3 double crochets. And continue along the second side by doing 3 double crochets into every space. The granny stitch has got to be one of the easiest and one of my favorites. You're not stitching into the individual stitches, but into the spaces, so it does make it a little bit easier and quicker to whip up a blanket. almost there. 3 double crochets here. And right here into the corner, we are just going to do 3 double crochets. We're not going to turn the corner, we're only doing 2 sides in our log cabin granny blanket. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's going to stand for a double crochet, and it's going to give us the space we need to get over here. And we go into this very next space. We don't do anything more over here. And we're going to do 3 double crochets. And we're going to do 3 double crochets into every space all the way along. Grab some more yarn there. And in the corner, we're going to do the same thing we always do. We're going to do the 3 double crochets, the chain 2, and the 3 double crochets. And we're going to go along this side over here. Finish off this corner space first. And then we go along this other side by doing the 3 double crochets into every space all the way across. Now you can do as many rows as you would like. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm only going to do 2 rows. The blanket I showed you before had me doing 4 rows in each color, but in this one I'm going to do 2 in each color. Now we've reached our last space, and we have our, let me see, that does not look right to me. We have our cluster from the row below. Now what we're going to do is we are just going to go over here into the top of that chain 3. We're going to put our hook in there, and we're going to do a double crochet. And that is going to finish up the row. You can do as many rows as you like. It is your blanket. Make it look as fabulous as you want to make it look. But for this tutorial, I am just doing 2 rows, just to show you the process. Okay, get these little end bits out of the way here. So we can trim off. I can tuck these in later. Shorten them a little bit. Just make sure you leave plenty of room to be able to sew in your ends. And grab another color here. We're going to go right here into this space between the cluster and this final double crochet. We'll go ahead and flip it over and do this corner. Bring that yarn through. Get the end out of the way. And we'll do our chain of 3. And we're going to crochet over our tail in this corner here. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. And then make sure you get the tail out of the way. And we're going to do the same thing we always do. We're just going to do our granny clusters of 3 double crochets into every space. All the way along until we get to the corner. And as you know, in the corner, we are always going to do our 3 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 3 double crochets. And then complete the other side. So on this first row this way, we started out our row with 3 double crochet clusters all the way across, and now we did that chain 4, and then went over to this next space and did our clusters all the way along. We're going to do the same thing with this one. Now we're at the corner space. We're going to do our 3 double crochets, our chaining of 2. Oops. When that happens, okay, let me fix that. And 3 double crochets. This yarn is so pretty. Now this log cabin blanket, as you can see, I'm doing 2 corners here, or 2 sides here, and then I kind of rotate it, coming across like I'm continuing the white, but I'm changing the color and doing 2 rows here. And then you're going to spin it and do it again. Always rotate it when you start another color, and you just keep on doing that until you get the blanket as big as you want. And you can make your rows. A lot of people I see do 4 rows of each color. You can do 2 rows. You can even get a little crazy and do 1 row if you wanted to. I haven't tried that yet, but I bet it could look really, really cool with the way the striping works on that. But this one is going to be 2 rows. And I'm doing this last color with you to kind of show you how to do the first and second rows, or the alternating rows. Now we're at the end, and this is where we're going to end this row. We're just going to do 3 double crochets, chain 4, turn our work, and skip right over here into this first space by doing 3 double crochets. we just do 3 double crochets into every space all the way along until you reach the corner. And in the corner, we always do our 3 double crochets. And then our chaining up of 2. Three more double crochets into that same corner space. And we continue on and finish our last side. 3 double crochets into every space all the way along. Almost done with the side. Now you could have 3 colors, 4 colors. My other blanket, I got a total of 6 colors. As many colors as you want. I think that if you go fewer than 3, it might make a difference in how the striping is going to work going around and such. So I would recommend at least 3 colors if you're going to do this. This is a great scrap busting blanket, so you could use as many colors as you want. And it's a really easy and fun blanket to whip up. Now we're at the end. And we're going to go to that top 3rd chain right there. And we're going to do our last double crochet. Okay. Let me pull this up here and flip it over so I can show you the side without all the end bits. It is a very, very simple and easy blanket to do. Just remember that however you start the row and go around the 2 sides, you're going to end the row the same way. Now when you change colors, again, it is very easy. You just snip off your end and tie it off. And then you flip your blanket back over to the right side. And you're going to start the next color here. Now for this blanket, I'm not going to do the whole row, but I'm just going to show you. You start each row. The first set, or not the first set, sorry guys. The first row of your color change, you're going to start with 3 double crochets in the corner. So you get your chain of 3, and then 2 more double crochets. And then you continue along the sides. On this side, going twice, 2 rows. And then when you finish, the first row, you're going to chain up 4. And then go into that very next space and do the 3 double crochets all the way across. And you're going to keep repeating these rows over and over. Do as many stripes as you like until you get the blanket finished. Like I said, mine is going to be a queen size blanket. Get all my garbage out of the way. And at first, I had started at 4 colors. But as you can see, the striping was kind of predictable. It had these 2 colors, the green and the lighter green, on this corner. And then this even lighter green and the white were all going to be on that. So the colors were I don't know. I just thought it needed some more options for colors. That way the striping looks a little cooler. I'm just trying to use up some of my scraps and my earth tones and get that done. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I will see you next time. Later, guys.